As you're drafting your introduction, you want to think a lot about your thesis statement, which is going to be the final sentence in your introductory paragraph. Now, what makes for a good thesis? You want to think, is my thesis argumentative? In this class, we've talked a lot about an informational versus an argumentative piece of writing. So one way that you can tell whether or not your thesis is argumentative is to see whether the opposite is true. In other words, if you were to argue the opposite of your position, could that position be viable? If the answer is yes, then chances are you have an argumentative thesis. Do you take a position? This is very essential because we're talking a lot about controversy and we're talking about the sides of the controversy. So you want to make sure that you're not just recapping the controversy, instead that you actually assert yourself in it. You take a position. You say, this is the pro side, this is the con side, and here's my side. Are you considering the entire paper? This is important if you're considering the overall paper, meaning that you want to be able to list out at least 3 or maybe 4 reasons why you think the thesis is valid, or your thinking behind it. The reason for this is that when you get to your body, you're going to take each of those 3 to 4 reasons and you're going to develop them into body paragraphs that then support the thesis statement. And is the thesis reasonable? You want to think about this in terms of, is your thesis biased? Are you so passionate about the subject that you feel like you have to be very extreme with your thesis statement? Like, for example, all recycling should stop. That's a little harsh. Instead, you can take a position where you say something to the effect of, we should question the methods behind recycling and whether or not they're as environmentally friendly as they could be. Something like that is far more reasonable. In other words, you don't have to take an extreme position in order for it to be a position. If you consider all of these things and answer these questions, then you should be well on your way to a strong thesis statement.